Hey folks, Mike with Chasing Trail here. I know I said I wouldn't use the chest mount anymore, but I say a lot of things. I'm a son of a bitch. I did get that new Shoei Hornet X2 helmet, but I have not actually worn it out on a ride yet. Still got all the stickers on it, and I haven't set up the camera for it yet. It is Super Bowl Sunday. I'm out for a brief ride. I'd like to get home before the game starts, but speaking of haven't ridden this bike in a while, this might be the last dance with Mary Jane. I ain't talking about reefers. Although this month, it has now been 1 full year since I last smoked dope. After 20 years of daily use. Over 20 years.
You have smoked yourself retarded.
I have nothing against weed. It's just not something I feel like I need in my life right now. When I'm retired someday, I'm sure I will partake again. But for where I'm at in life right now, I just felt like it was getting in the way. And I don't really miss it. I only missed it when I was playing video games, and I haven't been doing that much lately either, so there you have it. So, about this bike. I grabbed it today. What is that smell? Something smells fucking weird. Like a strong stench of cow piss. I only grabbed this bike to ride it today because I haven't ridden it in a while. And I don't think it's good for it to just be sitting there. And if it weren't for doing rides with my dad on the street, I really don't think I would ever pick this bike over the others. I'm just really enjoying dual sports these days. And if it's just me, I'm almost always going to pick the dual sport because I am going to want to go find some off-road places to ride. I still enjoy riding on the street, but with my limited riding time, I just would always pick the dual sport first. So this bike just doesn't get ridden very often. And it's a very expensive machine to not be getting ridden. For the amount of times I'm doing street rides with my dad, I could probably just borrow his Triumph, and I'm pretty sure he suggested that before I bought this one. I felt uncomfortable with that. Probably the same way my buddies feel uncomfortable riding my DRZ, which half the reason I bought was kind of for that purpose, but they just feel weird riding someone else's bike. So I get it, especially if I damaged it, you know. I think that's the big thing, if you wrecked it or damaged it. In any case, this bike, every time I ride it, first it feels really foreign when I first get on it. But after a few minutes it starts to feel comfortable again. It is just a phenomenal street machine, and I'm reminded of that every time I ride it again. But, like I said, I just find myself gravitating towards the dual sports, and I have almost as much fun on those, even on the street, as I do on this. Which is weird to say because this one is so much better on the street. So it's making it very difficult to justify the ownership of this amazing machine. Kind of feel like I don't deserve it or something. Probably sounds weird, and in a sense I don't. It's not really mine, it belongs to the bank. I'm just giving them money each month to ride it, and the amount of money I'm having to give them makes every ride I do on it pretty expensive. It's like over $200 a ride at this point, and as much fun as it is, I don't think it's worth that. I don't know. Well, I do know. I'm going to sell it. I've been thinking about this off and on for quite a while, and I just don't ride it enough. Like I said, any ride I do, I want the capability to be able to go at least do some gravel roads or something. Yeah, they're not going to handle like this and be able to just lean all the way over and just rail a corner like this thing does. I don't even ride that aggressively. I mean, I'm only hitting 33-degree lean angles. You could easily scrape the heads before you'd have any concerns about traction. I'm not going to ever ride that way on the street anyway. Too many variables. I've touched on this before, but the other issue is I just don't think I need a leader bike on the street. Yeah, it's fun. And maybe one that's not tuned for nearly as much top speed, but it's just so overkill for street riding. And it's very difficult. I'm a tame conservative rider, and it's very difficult for me even to ride at legal speeds on this thing, because it's so easy to go way too fast on it, not even realize you are. And right now I'm going over 60 miles an hour, and this is probably a 45 zone, but this feels, it's 40. This feels really comfortable. I generally don't spend that much time looking at the speedometer. I ride at what feels comfortable for whatever area or road I'm on, and this one, every time I look down at the speedometer, I'm shocked at how much faster I'm going than the speed limit. So what would I replace this with, if anything? I won't make any money off the sale of this. I'd basically just break even or get someone to take over the loan. I actually want to contact BMW Financial and see if that's an option. Don't turn in front of me. Sketchy. Thank you. The other thing I don't like is, like on all these country back roads, it's just not that comfortable. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm kind of just bouncing all over the place. Another thing I appreciate about the dual sports is they just soak all this kind of stuff up. This thing's like sticking to the road like glue. Don't get me wrong, it's just that the ride is, I don't know, I'm nitpicking stuff here. My goodness, it pulls so freaking hard. This thing is a goddamn rocket ship. So in doing the ride today, I wanted to just see how I felt riding it and decide if I needed to ride it anyway, and then decide if I want to keep it or if it's time to let it go and either just not replace it and not have a payment, which is the smart thing to do, or consider something else. If I were to replace it, what would I replace it with? Top contender right now would be a V-Strom 650 XT. They're kind of heavy, but they have really good range. It's got a 19-inch front. They have tubeless spoked wheels. They're known to be very reliable, and it would suit my needs for what I'm doing on the street. It's half the price of this machine, and it would be good for a mix of street and doing gravel roads and such. So if I get another street bike, I definitely want it to be like a 80-20, 70-30 bike that can at least do gravel roads and whatnot. Two other machines I'd consider: a Tenere 700, but you still can't really find them. It also has a pretty small gas tank, and I wouldn't want to have, I don't like having tube tires for a mostly street machine. I've had flats before, and I really like being able to just plug it and get myself home. The other machine I would consider is another DR650. Basically setting it up just like I did my other one, and that would be, I'd set it up for like 70-30 usage. I really enjoyed that bike even on the road, and they're really capable off-road if you want to do it. The cross-training enduro guys down in Australia ride the piss out of theirs, do all kinds of gnarly off-road stuff. I don't have the skill or desire to take one in the kind of places those guys do, but it can do it, and that would maintain a relatively light weight. It's like 100 pounds lighter than the V-Strom. It's more and more I appreciate lightweight bikes. This thing is a tank. You don't feel the weight at all on the street, but it is a tank. It's over 500 pounds, and just pushing it out of my garage before the ride, I was like, damn, this thing is really heavy. Especially pushing the KTM than pushing this. Weighs more than twice as much as the KTM. It does carry its weight low, which is nice. It's not as unwieldy as a GS. So I've moved my dad's GS around. I very briefly owned his previous 2007 1200 GS Adventure, and that is a bike I could not pick up. I tried. He knocked it over once, and I was like, no, I got this. I've watched all these videos. You just back up to it and lift with your legs. Yeah, I tried on flat concrete, and I could not pick it up. So maybe I'm just a pussy, but if I couldn't pick it up there, I'm sure as shit not going to pick it up off-road where I have less traction and I'm tired and got gear on and stuff. So yeah, I'll take a lighter weight bike. They get blown around in the wind a little bit more, but it's not a big deal. Even the KTM is, I don't think it's a big deal. Perfectly happy to ride that on the street, and it's 250 pounds, so probably can't see we're going past a RC airfield. Got little planes flying around up there. Thank you. People are really nice around here about letting motorcycles pass. Almost every time I come up behind someone, they like wave me on, slow down and pull over. So even on this perfect day, 74 degrees, sunny, riding this glorious machine on an amazing motorcycle road, I find myself wishing I was on the dual sport on the dirt somewhere. What a spoiled bitch I am. That's what I wanted to do today. I wanted to determine if this is a machine I want to keep, or is my riding just pulling me in a different direction. And for the number of times I do street rides with my dad, I can probably just ride his Triumph. A motorcycle I really enjoy nearly as much as this one. This one handles better, but there's just something about that Triumph. It's like a, I hesitate to use this term. I commented on this before, but it's just a very, what to me in my mind, like a pure classic motorcycle experience. A retro styled naked bike, just the modern conveniences you need, nothing more. It's got the best engine note and character to it. It's just a real joy to ride, and I don't find myself trying to push myself and ride too fast on it like I do on this one. This one's just begging me to go faster all the time. And that one I'm more happy to, the Triumph, I'm more happy to just kind of cruise along and enjoy the ride for what it is. I can do that on this one, but it's like it's always kind of whispering in my ear, egging me on to go a little bit faster. Don't know if that makes sense to anyone. It's the best way I can describe it. Whoa! The road was fucked right there. Jesus. That was a very unsettling feeling. I'm going to go back down the hill, ride out Bear Mountain Road, and from there I'll probably head home and get ready for the Super Bowl. Not really a football fan. I don't watch hardly any of it, but I feel like the Super Bowl is an American cultural event that transcends just sports. I'd like to participate in it. I love Brembo brakes. In my limited experience, they just seem to work so much better than the other brakes. Hey folks, I'm back. Stopped by a friend's house and said hello. Please don't turn right. Please don't turn right. Excellent. Well, just blasting down the highway here is pretty boring. Just sign off here. Hope everyone, hope it's a good game today. Stuck around this long. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.